evening, good afternoon, yeah. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. All is well with you. It's been a couple of days. Uh, I live with my oldest brother. He's usually here when I do this, or at the time in which I do this. The last 2 days, he's been here, so I don't do this. This is January 4th, 2021. I hope all is well with you. I hope you're staying warm, staying hydrated, getting something to eat. I hope all is well. I do. I am Fremont Lee. The views and opinions expressed in those videos are those of the person saying it. That's me, Fremont Lee. I don't know why I do it like that. It just seems like a thing. So, January 2nd birthdays: Tia Carrera, Cuba Gooding Jr., Paz Vega, Kate Bosworth, Ty Diggs, Dax Shepard, Joanna Fakula, Gabrielle Carteris, Christy Turlington, Kate Hodge, and to the late Anna Lee, who played Sister Margareta in The Sound of Music, 1965. Tommy Morrison, he was a boxer. He was in Rocky whatever, 5, I think. Roger Miller and Isaac Asimov. That's out of the top 100 of 1,187. January 3rd birthdays, top 100 out of 1,187. That's odd. I mean, the fact that they're the same, it was just, wow. January 3rd, Mel Gibson, Danica McKellar, who played the love interest, I can't remember the character name, on The Wonder Years. Victoria Principal, Dabney Coleman, Alex D. Linz, Stephen Stills, who probably should have gone first, but I write them down usually in the order in which they're listed. Not always. Sometimes I'm like, they should be higher than this, which is how I end up with today's list with like Julian Sands way up here because he would have been way down here. And I'm like, no, Julian Sands deserves to be up higher. Anyway, December 3rd birthdays: Nicholas Gonzalez, Jason Marsden, who played Max, who does the voice of Max Goof in a Goofy movie, 1995. He did other voices, I'm sure, or does other things, but Tom Bauer, who played Marvin in Die Hard 2, 1990. Jewel Shepard. And to the late, Robert Loggia, who was in the movie Big and Necessary Roughness with Scott Bakula and Hector Elizondo. Sergio Leone. I don't know if it's Sergio Leone or Leone. I mean, you don't say I'm a loney, but names are different. So it could be Sergio Leone. John Russell, who was in the movie Rio Bravo, 1959, and Pale Rider, 1985. He did other movies. If you've seen Pale Rider, he was one of the 7. He was the last of the 7 guys that were standing there that were facing against Clint Eastwood's character, the Pale Rider. Ray Milland, William Boyett, director John Sturges, who directed The Great Escape, 1963. Author J.R.R. Tolkien, Zazu Pitts, Jesse White, Anna Mae Wong, Jeremy Kemp, who was in the movie Top Secret, 1984, that starred Val Kilmer. Dan Vadas, he was a bodybuilder guy. Glenn A. Larson, television shows from the 70s and the 80s. Chances are you saw his name, a Glenn A. Larson production. Composer George Martin, he worked with the Beatles and stuff. That's what it said. I don't know. And Victor Borga, great piano player. He's like, so he'd flip the music over. How's everything with you? Was your first couple of days 2021 awesome or what? Mine was okay. No, I worked. I didn't have any parties to go to. I worked. Not everybody gets the day off because it's a holiday. It's kind of one of the things school uh, does. You get out of the house, you go do stuff for like 6 hours a day, 7 hours, whatever. That's what school. And you go there, you learn things that can help you. You're supposed to learn history so you don't repeat the same shit. You learn math, so you're like, uh, uh, I got 2 quarters. You got 3 nickels. I'll trade you. You got more than I do. You learn no. If 25 cents is more than a nickel, so 3 nickels is 15 cents. 2 quarters, 50 cents. You got to learn. Um, some things parents are supposed to teach the children, but sometimes that doesn't happen because parents get home from work. I don't want to. But yeah, it's you go. It's like, and then it's like you grow up, you work, you make money. So it's like, okay, so you're away from home, you're at work, unless you work from home, which ain't great. The ramblings of the person saying this. I know I did this. I kind of thought I looked like the guy from inside the actor's studio with the. Although he had his was a little more defined. Mine is. I trimmed it down and let this grow, and then just kind of this is. I can't think of his name, and I am. It's not Bob Ross. That's the painter guy. Oh, make some happy little trees. Um, I'm sure it'll come to me. January 4th. Today's birthdays. Julian Sands, as I mentioned. Matt Frewer, who played Max Headroom. If you've ever seen, he was on the sci-fi show, Aliens, UFOs, something. He was on one of my favorite shows, Doctor Doctor. Uh, it was a practice of 4 doctors. They got together because the hospital was like whatever, so they decided to get their own practice. Um, Julius Carey, who was in the movie The Last Dragon, and Shogun Harlem, um, was one of the doctors, and his son was talking about. They were talking about becoming, uh, doing debate, and the line that Matt Frewer says, "Well, if you learn how to debate well enough," or I'm not getting that right, but you can become a master debater. And I just thought it was the hilarious thing. It was stupid, but it was hilarious because when it came out, I just Diane Cannon, Barbara Rush, Julia Ormond, Ann Magnuson, Michael Stipe, David Bowie. He was not George. In the movie UHF, Weird Al played George. He played the best friend in the 1989 movie UHF. Daphne Keene, who was 23. She was the little girl in Logan, 2017. Dave Foley of the Kids in the Hall of Fame, who was on News Radio TV show. Deanna Carter, Dot Marie Jones, who was in the Boondock Saints. Oliver Clark, Corinna Everson, 6-time Miss Olympia winner, Corinna Everson, Corey. Roberto Sanchez, Diana Ewing, who played Droxine on the original Star Trek television series in 1969. She's done other things, but her main picture on IMDb is of her. She's got her hair done, and she's wearing that like toga type looking thing. April Winchell, Lee Carreri, who played Bruno Martelli in the movie Fame, 1980, and on the Fame television series, 1982 to 1987. Roberto Sanchez was in Too Fast, Too Furious. I didn't mention that because it was under the name, and I just kind of went with more name. Till Lindemann. He's the lead singer of Rammstein. This is out of the top 100 of 1,232. The late Sterling Holloway, who did the voice of Winnie the Pooh. Oh yeah, I can't. I was gonna do it. Vanity, who was in the movie The Last Dragon 5, and the movie Action Jackson 1988. She retired from acting and devoted the rest of her life to the church. I believe it was renal kidney failure or kidney failure of some kind. Director George P. Cosmatos, Cosmatos. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. He directed Rambo: First Blood Part 2, 1985, Cobra, 1986. There were other listings. I just didn't. Richard Stahl, who played Howard Miller on the TV show It's a Living. He's the cook on the show. 1985 to 1989. And to the late Boss Hogg actor Sorrell Book. I say Boss Hogg because most people look at you like, Sorrell Book, who's that? I don't know who you mean. Not that they talk like that, and I apologize if I offended anybody. But, you get some people, they just don't know. They're like, yeah, Clark Kent, he played Superman. It's like, what? No. But Sorrell Book, most people don't know the actor's name as Sorrell Book. He was on 2 episodes of the television series MASH. I've mentioned this in a previous video. The line he is telling Frank Birds that if he keeps pressing this issue or something, that he'll make him, because he was a general on the show, he would make Frank Burns take a 20-mile hike, to which I believe BJ at this time says, with a full pack. Nice touch. Yeah, because, and according to all the stories I've heard about Sorrell Book, he loved playing Boss Hogg. The man spoke like 5 or 7 languages. I don't remember the exact. I didn't look that fact up, but he spoke 5 so many. He spoke different languages. Trained actor, type thing. But he had fun playing Boss Hogg. He loved to get dressed up as and meet the fans. It was great. He enjoyed it, from all the stories I've heard, and that's awesome when actors, it's like, they get without the fans, they're he's just standing there going, "Ask not for what I am, me you are." Somebody write this down. Whatever. But as an actor, you get a part, and a lot of people, you hear the stories about Tina Louise on Gilligan's Island, where she thought she was going to be the star, but the show was called Gilligan's Island. Bob Denver played Gilligan. And it was like, she kind of like, but it was a paying gig. That was smart. I mean, all evidence to the contrary, but still. No, but yeah, she would, she kind of like, but she went for the what it lasts 3 years, 3 seasons, and you figure she didn't return uh, for the Harlem Globetrotters TV. That was after Rescue from Gilligan's Island. She didn't return to the character of Ginger. As for the excuse me, as for the cartoon, if anyone ever remembers the cartoon, Dawn Wells also played the voice of Ginger and Mary Ann for the cartoon. I remember seeing that at the video store. The video store was a place you youngins would probably not remember, uh, where people would rent videotapes or DVDs. DVDs came after VHS tapes. VHS tapes. I'm sorry, I cracked myself up. But I remember seeing it at the video store. Yeah, this was over 20 years ago. The place that used to be the video store in the town I used to live in was a workout facility. Last I knew. I'm not sure if it still is because stuff happens. But I don't know where I was going with that. Right on the box, I remember it said, and Dawn Wells as the voice of, and I was like, huh, okay. You figure not Natalie Wood, scratch that. Natalie Schaefer, who played Mrs. Howell, whose first name apparently was Lovey, so it was Lovey Howell. Who knew? Because you figure everyone referred to her as Mrs. Howell, except Mr. who called her Lovey, which could have been a pet name, but I believe it ended up being the character name. I'm not sure. I hadn't gone into the facts or anything to look into that. But you figure Natalie Schaefer, who played Mrs. Howell, took the job as Mrs. Howell for the pilot episode for a free trip to Hawaii, because that's where they filmed the pilot episode, was in Hawaii. And she didn't think the show would sell, so she just said, yeah, why not? Then it did, and she had signed the contract, so she's like, okay. she just went. She was like, okay. It's like, all right. It's not like she had to, but I mean, because you figure after the pilot episode, because Bunny became, I believe, the Ginger character, and I'm not sure who the other one. It wasn't the Professor Russell Johnson. It was someone else. I don't recall seeing the pilot episode. I know it's available somewhere, but I haven't looked into it. But yeah, Sorrel Book, he loved getting dressed up as Boss Hogg, visiting the fans. They have like a Make-A-Wish, I think. And wrestlers, kids will visit wrestlers because because like Make-A-Wish Foundation or something will so like Hulk Hogan will visit fans in the hospitals, like, hey, look, stuff. Johnny Depp did that. I want to say during filming of a movie, or maybe it was after. He visited a children's hospital, dressed as Captain Jack Sparrow, and it was Kids loved it. He I don't know if he got a kick out of it, but you'd figure he got dressed up. So sometimes that's I love that. I love hearing stories like that. Where an actor or actress for the fans will do that. It's like, yeah, that's awesome. Sick kids in a hospital. No better reason to get dressed up as that and whatever. I have a doctor's appointment today, so uh, I also need to wash my bedding. I have the dishwasher running now. My brother took the trash out. I put it in a new bag. Charging my phone. Hope all is well with you. I really do. I'm not winning the lotto, which seems to be a running thing every year, every day of every year. I'm gonna try and save my money and put it towards hookers and blow. I'm kidding. It's that was a joke. There's a video on YouTube of lotto winners, people who what happened to lotto winners. One of them, it actually states the guy lost. He blew all the money on hookers and blow. That's cocaine for those of you who don't know. I don't know why they call it blow. You inhale it through, you know. But yeah, I know if I won, I know what I would do. I have it set. It's like da 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 da, and I would hope my investments would pay back. As most people get investments actually would. Um, but hey, that's. Well, I do thank you for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day or had a wonderful day. If you are working, I hope you enjoy what you are doing for your job. If it's a career, that's great. If it's just I got something to get by, well, hopefully you love it, you enjoy it, because if you're going to do it for a while, you might as well. I should take my own advice. I'm currently working at a place I'm not thrilled with that anymore. But I began writing. Actually, I began writing when I was working at Arby's, and when I got that job in 1993, I started in 1995. I started writing. I finished. I'd write at lunch, at break, which I finished a story while I was working there, because I would go home and I would work on it there as well. Uh, then, of course, after that, I was going to use it as because Matt Damon and Ben Affleck had a Project Greenlight, something on HBO or something, where would-be writers would get their stuff copyrighted, send it to them. They would pick a couple or whatever that they thought had potential, and they would make the movie. And I was like, that's a cool idea. So I worked on it. I finished the story, and I went back into because this, not everyone had a home computer, because it was at that time where it's like some people couldn't afford it. Now it's like, beam me up, Scotty. Everyone's got a freaking whatever. But I looked into it and I was like, oh, okay, I have to get it copyrighted. How do I do that? You know, not everything's taught in school. They should bring those life classes back, or some like how to change a tire, how to change your oil, home ec, how to cook food. Cook food. I just open up a box and microwave it. Yay! It's like that can't be healthy, but sometimes shortcuts are understandable. Instead of getting out the water, the flour, and everything, and making homemade biscuits, Pillsbury, crescent rolls, or cinnamon buns, or the store brand. You know, it's- I, ooh, 26 minutes. Okay. I guess I'm just lonely for conversation. I'll be going. Ooh, it's going on 6 o'clock. It is 5:53. Um, so I have 2 hours, an hour and a half, to play around online, shower, get dressed, and go to my doctor's appointment. Be there at 9. I have to be. I'll be there early because of stuff. I hope all is well with you. Thank you for watching. Please be kind to each other. We've all been through some shit this last year. uh, we're still going through it because I don't know. Stuff. Thank you for watching. Take care.